Or is it the content they think makes tag? Like, I'm not quite...
Who's they, the parent or the
No,
funder?
the people that developed got it. Like, I guess, what would they say is got it? Like, is it the content, or is it the sessions and how they structure the sessions? Like, I'm not...
Because I think both. So I spoke to the got it people on the phone. I asked some of these questions. Very reasonable. I can't remember the lady's name. Sharon, something. She was very nice. Offered a lot of her time, and I think, I mean, I don't know if this answers your question. It is, as probably any clinician engagement, it's like, it has to do with the therapeutic alliance between the clinician and the client. If it's a group, it has to do with the group dynamic, and that over time, and all the stages of group, norming, storming, and all the rest, as well as content.
So I'm more thinking, like, if we're just doing it over telly and we're changing the content, is it still cool? Like, is it still tag? Or is it like a different program? Do you know what I mean? Is it even tag? Is it just a telly program we're delivering, and it's kind of based on lots of different parenting strategies? Like, I'm a bit confused myself.
Well, and this is what the in-person got it people are saying as well. They're like, okay, we're delivering got it, but it's not really got it. Like, sometimes it's 6 sessions, it's usually supposed to be 10. Half the people are showing up, it's supposed to be a group, sometimes there's one, or we're got it. Okay. Yeah, or we're going off, we're going off on these things.
Or when I talk to my friend that's running it, she's saying, they modify it very heavily, but what makes it got it is having the parent, watching the parent-child stuff, having the parent stuff, so that it makes it got it for them.
And we don't have that.
We do have that, so I'm kind of like, if we're not having that and then we're changing the content, is it really that? Or is it something else? So that's kind of what
it's like, what is the secret sauce, sort of what is the got it?
What do they think their program is? Like, what is it about the program that makes it that? And if it's not what they think it is can we even call it that still? Like, I just,
it's a really good set of questions.
If with thinking of this as a feasibility and it becoming a service for Royal Far West, a lot of things would change to make it appropriate. So they would probably say open up the age group. Now, if that was opened up, how would that fit with giving that kind of content? Would you be hard if it went up a few more years? Would it not be appropriate for the older kids and appropriate for the young kids, or is it kind of content that can be given to that whole age group?
So, because Godet's only for young kids, isn't it?
Yeah, it's up to year 2. So if we went to year 6 and say, that's a huger population, we're going to deliver the service to them so we can get the groups.
But then again, is it got it?
Then,
because it's then, it's not, so again, we could deliver a program, but is it, are we just delivering a program that we can't call it got it because it's not? Like, I'm kind of...
In which case it might as well just...
Well, and the funny thing is that got it's never been well researched. So actually, the state has funded a program that there's not a lot of good evidence in, except that there's evidence underlying a lot of what's going on under it. So
I don't know the actual mechanisms of it. And I remember asking this at the training of is there an understanding of which kids benefit more? Is there subgroups of kids that we know this is most helpful for? My feeling is anxious kids probably aren't benefiting from this much because there's no specific content on anxiety in it, even though it's supposed to be a group where there's externalizing and internalizing and all of the rest, and it does provide lots of great, very, theory-driven approaches, and they pick the best bits of lots of different programs, but it would be really interesting to know what is the mechanism. It's probably going to be different for each family, and each family will probably have their take-home one or two things that make sense to them and work for them. But as a whole, for it to be called a targeted intervention, I'm just it is interesting. Because what are we targeting? We don't really know. All sorts of things.
With an intervention that's not really targeted either. That's very interesting. Very useful, and really mirrors. In-person one mirrors the small amount of information that's available on Got It.
I think to go up to a year 6 population, that's, I don't know, I don't think a lot of the principles are relevant, but just in terms of like the way it's designed is for preschool to year 2, and that's why there's this key area around developmental expectations. And as Kim said, when you have people with really different presentations in those groups, I think it's a real challenge.
So
I think you're more likely to get the more severe kids
Yeah.
that haven't, like, I guess this is supposed to be an early intervention, general kind of approach. If we open it up to, you know, up to 12 years old, but then getting into that bracket where this stuff that's already tricky in our little people groups is then being festering for, and it becomes like you've got to just come and have a tailored intervention.
Year 2, Year 3, could you push it out more, do you think, or is it pretty, that's about the age you'd go up to?
It's never been tested, I guess, has it?
Yeah.
So I think that's the...
And it might just be about the group dynamics of what... I don't know.
It's hard. I can see why you'd want to, like, broaden the...
just business side of things. You need the people. And what we're seeing right now is we're not getting the group sizes. So if we opened that up and brought more people into it, we could run them, and therefore... But will content be too varied for that population?
Yeah, that's very useful. Because, I mean, that's recommended, like, within all the recommendations that'll go back after this report will be keep it to that age group, you know, and very good rationale for doing so. Or, you know, if you moved up, you move to year 3, but, you know, end there sort of thing to maybe boost numbers or whatever. But that, it's an important point because people have asked, should you expand the age group because of numbers in rural settings? Yeah. And what about this the departure of having children involved? I mean, it's a massive departure, isn't it, from the in-person one? Do you think it's a fatal flaw? Like, do you think it really kills off the whole thing? Or do you think, I mean, I have a slight opinion because I think no, because intervention to parent at that young age has great efficacy, and it is shown, you know. So I think no, it's probably not a fatal flaw, but curious of your opinion, whether you even can have anything to say about it, because what you ran was the parent one.
I mean, I guess, you know, we run other programs here where it's just for parents, and that works. But I guess the program we run here for parents, there's sometimes one session with the kids. It's just around one aspect of the program.
And you already know the kids. Like, I think that's a crucial bit.
And
parents have the sense.
An age group. We don't do, like, so the Tuning to Kids program, we have like there are kids in the group that are quite little and they're teenagers as well. But then when we're delivering the kids session, we will just pick one group over at the school. And, you know, and it might be that, so we're not, every kid doesn't get to do that session, but it's just the target group. And I think if we opened it up, especially to those face-to-face, if we were doing face-to-face, it'd be hard to have a kids group if there's kindies and year sixes. Like, it just,
And I think, you know,
and we know the kids, that's probably the key element for this. We know the families, we know the kids, we've selected them for this group because we know it's this time it might be helpful.
I think there's something that's really powerful for parents to know that you've laid eyes on that child, you've seen it for yourself in some way, and you get it, because otherwise it's a lot of, oh yeah, but this, oh but what, and I think, and particularly as a clinician, if you feel like you've seen it with your own eyes, you can draw on that. So I see that there would be huge benefit in having that child component there for that reason alone. But
would it be possible to have them do, like, just on, I mean, thinking telecare still, that the kids would just either you know, it'd be just them and their parent, or just them and a teacher, and just have them observe them playing, or have this is less possible to have the video come on in a classroom setting due to ethics and everything of everybody else. But do you think that would get a little bit of the way to knowing that child if you had no face-to-face possibilities? Maybe. Or it's so stilted and it's like a kid's drawing for 20 minutes. What do you get from that?
But you still get, like, the interaction, and you could set it up around an activity that's designed to elicit some sort of interaction.
Like they're playing a little game, or a game or something like that.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking, like, you know, like a little clean-up activity and a little...
So that could be a helpful addition.
Potentially.
I don't know whether the DUT would...
We do it for OT.
Okay.
Like, for our